In the silence of this night, when fear surrounds me like a storm, when the voices of doubt grow louder than my prayers, I lift my eyes. Not because I am strong, not because I understand, but because somewhere beyond the shadows, beyond the battle, beyond the tears, your cross is still shining. And even in the darkest valley, its fire still burns. The wind is howling through these broken halls. Ashes are falling where my courage falls. I hear the thunder of a distant war, yet somehow, Lord, I feel you near once more. My hands are trembling in the midnight rain. My heart remembers every hidden pain. But through the ruins of my restless soul, I see your mercy calling me back home. When every mountain stands against my way, when every promise seems to fade away, the cross still burns in the darkness, a flame that death could never steal. Through every battle, every wound inside me, your love remains so real. The cross still burns in the darkness, lighting the places I cannot see. And when the night says I am abandoned, your scars keep speaking over me. The enemy whispers I should let you go, that all these prayers have vanished into smoke. But every lie dissolves before your name, and every chain remembers why you came. I walk through valleys where the shadows breathe, yet I am held by hands they cannot reach. The war around me cannot change this truth. The King who died is still alive in me. Though all creation seems to shake and break, your faithful heart will The cross still burns in the darkness, brighter than all the fires of hell, stronger than every army of shadows, greater than every prison cell. The cross still burns in the darkness, a beacon no storm can erase. And when my final night surrounds me, I will still look upon your face. The cross still burns in the darkness. The cross still burns in the darkness, forever burning in my heart. So I will not fear the night, I will not bow to the voices, I will not surrender to despair, because beyond every battle, beyond every shadow, beyond every unanswered prayer, the cross still burns, and its light is leading me home. It's 3 in the morning. The world is asleep. The room is silent, but my mind isn't. The fears keep speaking, the memories keep returning, the questions keep knocking at my heart. And God, I don't know how to carry all of this anymore. So tonight, I bring you everything, because even when no one else is awake, you are. The clock keeps counting every lonely minute. Moonlight falls across this empty floor. I've tried to close my eyes, but sleep won't find me. My heart is standing at your door. These thoughts are louder than the midnight silence. This weight feels heavier than yesterday. So here I am with all my broken pieces, kneeling where I know you'll stay. When my strength disappears and my faith feels small, you're still listening through it all. God is still awake at 3 a.m. when tears are falling and I can't pretend. When anxiety whispers I'm alone again, your voice is soft as saying, child, come in. God is still awake at 3 a.m. watching over every wound I cannot mend. And while the darkness tries to pull me in, your love is keeping me from sinking. You are still here. I tell you things I've never said out loud before, the hidden fears beneath my quiet smile, the battles that I fight behind closed curtains, the miles I've walked in pain while you never turn away from all my questions. You never shame the weakness that I bring. You gather every tear like precious treasure and hold me underneath your wings. Though the night feels so long and the answers seem late, you are working while I wait. God is still wilderness, you speak life into my emptiness. God is still awake at 3 a.m. The shepherd watching where his children rest. And though the night is long, it cannot win, because your mercy meets me where I've been. Your mercy meets me where I've been. The room is still quiet. The night is still dark. The questions may still be here, but something has changed, because I remembered the God who watches over heaven and earth never sleeps, never leaves, never forgets. And at 3 in the morning, he is still awake, listening, loving, waiting for me, for me. I almost stopped believing, almost stopped praying, almost stopped waiting. There was a moment, a quiet moment, when I thought nothing would ever change. The pain was too heavy, the silence felt endless, and I stood at the edge of surrender, one step away from giving up. But before I walked away, I whispered one more prayer, and heaven heard it. I was sitting in the dark again tonight, holding broken dreams with trembling hands. Every promise felt so far away from me, like footprints fading slowly in the sand. I tried to hide the ache beneath my smile, tried to convince my heart that I was strong, but deep inside the battle never ended, and every night felt painfully long. The questions echoed louder than my worship. The fear became a shadow in my room. I searched for signs that you were still beside me, but only found the silence and the gloom. Then through the weakness, through the tears, I felt your presence drawing near. But heaven met me in the middle of my breaking. Mercy found me where I fell apart. I was one prayer away from giving up, and one prayer away from your heart. You saw the nights nobody else remembered, the silent wars I fought inside my mind, the disappointment wrapped around my shoulders, the wounds I prayed that no one else would find. And still you stayed when I was full of questions, still held my soul when I could barely stand. You never waited for my faith to be perfect, you simply reached and took me by the hand. The darkness told me I would never matter, that every prayer had vanished in the air, but every lie collapsed beneath your promise, because your love was always waiting. was weak, you became the strength I couldn't keep. I was one prayer away from giving up, one heartbeat from believing it was over, one tear away from letting go of hope, one step away from walking through the door. But heaven met me in the middle of my breaking. Mercy found me where I fell apart. I was one prayer away from giving up, and one prayer away from your heart. You never left, you never moved, even when I doubted you. You never changed, you stayed the same, calling me by name. When I couldn't see tomorrow, you already held the dawn. When I thought my story ended, you were writing a new song. So I will trust you in the valley, I will trust you through the storm, because the God who made me broken is the God who leads me home. I was one prayer away from giving up, but now I'm standing in the light of mercy. The chains that once surrounded all my hope are falling at the power of your name. Heaven met me in the middle of my breaking. Grace restored the pieces of my heart. I was one prayer away from giving up, but you were never far. I was one prayer away from giving up, but you were never far. And if you're standing where I once stood, tired, broken, ready to quit, whisper one more prayer, one honest prayer, one desperate prayer, because sometimes the miracle begins. One prayer before surrender, and God is closer than you think. Almost stopped believing, almost stopped praying, almost stopped waiting. There was a moment, a quiet moment, when I